resume with strict adherence to COVID-19 protocols in Lagos State. Governor AKEREDOLU gives herdsmen 7 days to vacate ONDO forest reserves. And internet access restored in Uganda after presidential election. Many thanks for joining us on the news. I am Oyi Adekunle. Now, amid fears by parents, teachers and other stakeholders over the second wave of COVID-19 pandemic, many schools across Nigeria have reopened today for the first and second term academic calendar. Last week, the Minister of Education, Adamu, directed all schools to reopen, saying the decision was reached after extensive consultations with relevant stakeholders, including governors, commissioners for education, heads of institutions and students. Our correspondent Abisola Adebayo was on the field earlier today to see how resumption in schools went across Lagos State. She files in this report.
Life must move on despite the pandemic that has put a stop to all major activities in the world and ushered in a new normal. This is how the federal government backed its decision to reopen schools amidst the second wave of the coronavirus pandemic. Despite opposition from some sectors of the country who have raised fears of rising COVID-19 infections among school children, schools across the country resumed activities today. The students, however, seem unbothered as they express excitement to be back to school after delayed resumption.
I feel good because we have not been learning a lot at home through the platform. They explain it to us through the platform, but we can't really understand like the way they teach us in school well. So I'm back in school to learn it well.
I feel excited and I feel great about it because staying at home isn't really enough for the school assessment to complete our school work. So I feel great.
I'm very, very happy. Like, I cannot even express myself that way because staying at home without doing nothing, watching TV with your phones, writing notes, copying notes from the phone is just tiring.
School teachers in the same vein complimented the decision of the government to open schools, saying life has to move on and as long as they adhere to the stipulated guidelines, there is no cause for alarm.
Life has to go on. We can't stop the education all because of COVID-19. We can't. Life has to go on. Last year, it is not a waste, but thank God for last year. We need to move on.
The school is well prepared. All teachers are on ground. The students are on ground. All COVID-19 protocols, preparation, we have made everything available to resume. It's the best. We cannot continue staying at home.
The students, they are already aware of all COVID protocols that they are supposed to maintain. And last time we had all our COVID-19 things on the ground for them, like the wash hand basins, we have sanitizer, and they've been taught to wear their face mask all the time. So they are coming in this time is just to move in and pressing into what they have learned last time.
The Lagos State Commissioner for Education, who paid a visit to some schools in the state to monitor their compliance with COVID-19 protocols, allayed fears of parents and stakeholders who are of the opinion that school resumption in this period may not be the best.
Well, they are right to be concerned, but they should be assured that we are doing our best to ensure that we comply with the protocols that will ensure that COVID doesn't spread. So this decision was taken in the best interest of the majority of the children who are very vulnerable. If they were not here, where would they be?
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has moved against the federal government directive that schools should resume despite the rising cases of the coronavirus infection. The lower house, while expressing its concern, wondered why schools were closed when the infection rates were low, but reopened when the nation is experiencing a second deadlier wave of the pandemic. Abisola Adebayo, TV360, Lagos.
And a 5-day training and media workshop has commenced in Kano, Nigeria to discuss issues of child labor, child marriage, child molestation and the out-of-school children challenge. The training, facilitated by Save the Children International, is aimed at highlighting the issues faced by the Nigerian child and how to address it. TV360's Folashade Ogunride now reports.
11 states in Nigeria are yet to pass the Child Rights Act, a document that protects the rights of children and spells out the privileges they should enjoy. This is the reason for this media workshop. Save the Children, an international body committed to protecting the rights of children, says state governments in Nigeria need to be more sensitive to the challenges faced by children.
We need all the instruments that we can muster as a country, and being a signatory to the Convention of the Rights of the Child, and after it promulgated, we discovered that many states are still yet to see that instrument as an important tool that will protect the rights of these children. It's not just passing those Child Rights Act. There should be instruments, a strategic plan on how the state can implement those laws to safeguard the interests of children. I think for me, the states are not actually doing enough, because if you read across our newspapers, our televisions, our radio, you hear daily children are being abused because the states are not actually doing enough. They don't have enough political will to ensure that those children are being protected.
Media practitioners at the event expressed the huge challenges faced by children in Nigeria and suggest ways to fix the problem.
In other times, parents are not allowed to beat or maltreat their children. They can easily report, but in Nigeria, we don't have anything like that. Children are maltreated, and nobody is protecting and ensuring that such things are curbed in the society. So there is need for a task force team in place so that they can monitor whenever those situations are recorded. They take ownership of it. It's not the place of the NGOs or foundations to do it.
Part of the problem starts from the fact that we have more than 30 million children who are out of school in the country. I tell you that itself is a problem. And so when these children are out of school, what do they do outside those hours that they are not in school? That tells you that they are open to all forms of neglect, all forms of exploitation, all forms of harassment, and all forms of child labor. So that is why, to address the issue of neglect, to address the issue of harassment, to address the issue of exploitation in our society, we need to mainstream those issues that will take our children back to school. And I think that is what the government should hammer on.
Stakeholders also appealed to state governments who are yet to pass a Child Rights Act to do so, while calling on states that have passed the law to make it effective. Folashade Ogurinde, TV360 News.
And to security matters now, the Nigerian military says troops of Operation Hadarin Daji have killed at least 35 bandits in Zamfara state in 2 successive operations. According to a statement signed by defense spokesman Major General John Enenche, the operations were carried out on Sunday. Enenche said the troops also recovered 24 cows and an unspecified number of sheep from the bandits. He added that in another development following a tip-off, 2 suspected bandits have also been arrested in Katsina State. The suspects are now in custody for further action. And ONDO State Governor Rotimi AKEREDOLU has ordered herdsmen to vacate all forest reserves in the state within the next 7 days. The governor made the proclamation via Twitter, saying the order had become imperative due to the increasing incidence of kidnap cases in the state. Night grazing has also been banned by the governor, who says most farm destruction takes place at night, and has however given a grace period of 7 days to those who wish to carry on their cattle rearing business to register with appropriate authorities in the state. And the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has asked the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja to sack a former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, for defecting to the All Progressives Congress. Dogara, who represents Das, Tafawa Balewa and Bogoro Federal Constituency of Bauchi State in the House, defected from the APC to the PDP before the last general election and won a re-election to the House on the platform of the PDP. At the resumed hearing of the suit on Monday, the lawyer to the plaintiff plaintiffs, Jibril, urged the court to abridge the time for the hearing of the suit, owing to the fact that Dogara is already enjoying legislative privileges as a member of the House of Representatives. Justice Okonabang, after listening to the lawyers to the defendants who did not oppose the application to abridge time, thereafter fixed February 14, 2021 for continued hearing. The Controller General of the Nigerian Immigration Service, Mohammed Babandede, has emphasized the need for a collaborative effort among anti-trafficking agencies if the gains in combating human trafficking and smuggling of migrants are to be sustained. Babandede made this submission during a capacity workshop for immigration officers on Immigration Act 2015 and Immigration Regulations of 2017 in Abuja. Other stakeholders say the aim of the training is to ensure participants have in-depth knowledge of what it entails to deliver on their mandate, taking into cognizance the provisions of the Immigration Act and other regulations that are key to operational methodology of the service.
The investigator should be guided by a prosecutor, so that the investigation you will do, the arrest you are going to carry, the search you will conduct are guided by the prosecutor, because he's the one going to face the law. He's going to face the court to convince the court that a crime has been committed. That's why in our legislation we need to do this, not only in immigration but in the whole country. We need to find opportunity to bridge this gap between investigators and prosecutors so they can work closely together. Although in many agencies they are happening, in EFCC, ICPCs, because they are living in the same place, in NAPTIP, in our agency, but it has to be a legal review in our country where you will see greater cooperation between prosecutors and investigators, as it is happening in every part of the world.
It is not just to have officers trained, but to see clear improvement in the performance of their mandate, because knowledge is just a tool, but the purpose is that the agency is doing well in performing their mandate by reducing the smuggling of migrants, fighting the smugglers, etc., etc. So we expect that this training will boost all those things.
Well, let's take a break here, but still to come, scientists warn against abuse of ivermectin for COVID-19 treatment. Details on that after this break.
Give him his shoes somewhere here, his phone and everything.
Don't do like that again.
Thank you. So, bye-bye. Hey, Oga, where do you think you are going? Go.
You never shake body.
Eh?
You never shake body.
Shake body, see?
Huh? You never shake body.
Eh? I don't get combo for my body.
You go take for here. Sit down there.
Down.
What's this man still doing here?
They say I do shake body. I shake body, I shake body. They say I do this. And I say I don't get color.
You are asking for money.
Sorry, ma'am.
Asking for money to bail a suspect is an act of corruption. Both of you will be punished. Corruption is not allowed within the force. Remember,
police is your friend. Giving and taking bribe is wrong.
Corruption, not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
Corruption not in my country.
Glad to have you back. Now here's a quick reminder of some of our top stories tonight. Now, despite opposition from some stakeholders who have raised Fears of rising COVID-19 infections in the country, schools in Nigeria resumed academic activities today. The Lagos State Commissioner for Education, Folashade Adefisayo, who paid a visit to some schools in the state to monitor their compliance with COVID-19 protocols, allayed fears of parents and guardians, saying life must go on despite the pandemic. We also told you that the ONDO State Governor Rotimi AKEREDOLU has ordered herdsmen to vacate all forest reserves in the state within the next 7 days. The governor made the proclamation on Twitter, saying the order had become imperative due to the increasing incidence of kidnap cases in the state. AKEREDOLU also banned night grazing, saying most farm destructions take place at night. Governors of the 36 states of the Federation will be holding their 23rd virtual meeting to address the rising cases of COVID-19 infections and work out an appropriate response. The meeting, which is scheduled to hold virtually on Wednesday, is expected to provide a platform for the governors to deliberate and agree on practical steps to contain further spread of the disease. This was contained in a press statement signed by the head of Media and Public Affairs of the Nigeria Governors Forum, Abdulrazak Bello Bakindo, in Abuja on Monday. In the last 24 hours, Nigeria has recorded 1,444 new cases of COVID-19, taking the country's caseload to 110,387. 15 more persons also died from the disease on Sunday, increasing the fatality toll to 1,435. As governments around the world scramble to roll out vaccination programs, scientists have warned against taking ivermectin, an anti-parasite drug, as a treatment for COVID-19, despite headlines that have touted it as a cure. Health agencies say there is not enough evidence to promote the drug as a remedy for COVID-19. Researchers say flawed studies backing the drug have stoked black market sales, hampered further scientific research, and swayed governments' responses to the pandemic. Ivermectin has been widely distributed in sub-Saharan Africa since the 1990s to treat river blindness, and its effectiveness for COVID-19 treatment is currently being investigated by some Nigerian professors and scientists. Now, already many Nigerians are beginning to hoard the drug, with over-the-counter purchase reported to have surged significantly over the past few days. Earlier, I spoke to public health physician Dr. Nsiabasi Ekanem, who raised concerns over the abuse of the drug and its possible implication in Nigeria.
It's a very serious concern. As a matter of fact, I got a very reliable information as at yesterday that over 16,850 boxes or cartons of ivermectin have been sold already. To who? We don't know. Now, the truth is that for a country like Nigeria, where our drug distribution system is quite chaotic, we don't know who brings in drugs, we don't know how drug moves, and even patients or people can get medication without a doctor's prescription. It makes it very, very worrisome and very difficult to track the use of medicines. Now that ivermectin has been announced globally as a potential cure for COVID-19, what we have observed in Nigeria is that a lot of people have already rushed into the pharmacy and have procured these medications and are using it. Unfortunately, we are likely going to be seeing ivermectin toxicity in the coming days or weeks. But unfortunately, there is really nothing much we can do because our drug distribution system has not been programmed well enough to check some of these excesses. And so because of these gaps, we are bound to see a lot of complications arising from ivermectin toxicity or ivermectin poisoning.
There must be side effects for taking maybe like overdose of this kind of drug. So please tell us, what are some of the side effects?
Well, this drug has previously was used, in management of, helminthes. I mean, worm infections and the rest of them. And so one of the things that we are likely going to see as a side effect is what we call super infection. This drug has been used, to address nematodes, which are some of the floras or some of the organisms that stays within the human gastrointestinal system. Unfortunately, with an overdose of this drug, we are going to see some of the natural organisms or flora in the human gastrointestinal system that helps us to maintain a normal system. These flora will start dying off, and when they die off, we are going to experience things like diarrhea. We are going to experience things like dysentery. We are going to experience, even things like, indigestion, because of the fact that the normal system of the human gastrointestinal tract has been altered. There are a lot of other things that we are going to experience, which are the side effects or the toxic effects of the medication. But basically, the number one or probably the paramount side effect that we are going to observe is a total alteration of the human gastrointestinal tract, which is from the esophagus down to the anus. So this is really going to be the issue. And of course, you know that this kind of situation will come with a number of complications that may make a number of patients to be hospitalized.
We'll take another short break here and return with business updates. Don't go away. Welcome back. Let's now join Jerusha Marego for the latest developments in the world of business. Over to you now, Jerusha.
Thank you, Onyi, and welcome to Business News. The Central Bank of Nigeria has released a framework for regulatory sandbox operations that would promote seamless adoption of electronic payments across the country. This new framework will also ensure safety and stability of the financial system, amongst other benefits. The Apex Bank explained that it came up with the structure to ensure new and more flexible ways of engaging with the banking industry. It said the structure will enable the banks stay abreast of innovations while promoting a safe, reliable, and efficient payment system to foster innovation without compromising on delivery of the mandate. And President Muhammadu Buhari virtually inaugurates the National Oil and Gas Excellence Center, NOGEC, in Lagos on January 21st. And this is a bid to boost the operations of the nation's petroleum sector. Head of Public Affairs of the Department of Petroleum Resources, Paul Osu, in a statement today says the center will afford the oil and gas industry the critical elements for competitive advantage in changing global energy landscape. Osu says the center was structured to drive the three prolonged objectives of safety, value, and cost efficiency, which are critical for oil and gas industry stability, growth, and sustainability. We'll take a pause here and return with stock market review. Do stay with us. It's not a good day for the Nigerian stock market, and weak sentiments pervaded the domestic bourse for the first trading day, which closed negative. Now, all share index dipped by 0.23% to close at 41.082. Market capitalization also closed in 21 trillion naira loss. Now, despite this downturn, we saw that the market breadth was rather on the high, as we see that we have some positives where 35 gainers were on the high against 22 laggards. Now, this upturn was impacted by gains recorded in medium and large capitalized stocks, among which we have our four gainers for today. We have Gas, Bulgars is the top gainer for today. We also have Cadbury Nigeria. We also have Guarantee Trust Bank and Livestock Feeds PLC with a combined 3 naira 1 kobo gain. On conversely, we have the losers for today. We have Dangote Cement. Dangote Cement, interestingly, was on gains for 3 consecutive weeks, but lost sadly today with a 2 naira 4 kobo loss. We also see Flour Mills Nigeria PLC, Guinness and First Bank Nigeria Holdings to complete the losers list with a combined 5 naira loss. Taking a look at the market summary today, we see that 738 million worth 4 billion exchanged hands in 7,396 deals. Conversely to our global market. Now, last week global market, it was on a red, but this week also it's on a red. We begin on a red as the FTSE is trading lower today as it traded last week as investors' confidence have not still been restored. Now today it closes at a 0.34% loss. We also see the US stock today as Martin Luther King's holiday, and to this cause the cash market was closed and Dow Jones was rejected twice in the stock market. Now this impacted his loss to a 0.57%. Now Tokyo stock also closed lower and profit taking after Nikkei fresh 30 years high to close on a loss of 0.97%. That's all we have on stock market. It's back to you, Onyi, for the rest of the news.
Well, thank you very much for that update, Jerusha. Moving on now to the foreign scene, where authorities in Uganda have switched on the internet in the country after it was shut down on 13th of January, a date to the country's presidential election. Although social media is still blocked, it can only be accessed through virtual private network. Prime Minister Ruakana Rugunda, during a briefing, says the government was assessing the level of threat before a decision can be taken to restore internet services completely. Longtime President Yoweri Museveni won his 6th term in office after garnering 58.64% of the tallied votes, while his closest rival, Robert Kyagulanyi, also known as Bobby Wine, polled 34.83% at the election. And it's now time for Entertainment Report on News Now.
Toyin Abraham is back to wearing a producer cap following a 2020 comedy Fate of Alakada, which grossed impressive numbers in the cinemas amid the COVID-19 pandemic. The star actress recently took to Instagram with some beautiful behind-the-scene moments while dropping into what the film is about. According to her, the movie Ige is based on the true life story of someone incredibly close to her. She also revealed that picture-perfect director Biodu Stephen will be leading this project. Fans of the winner of Big Brother Naija lockdown season, Lekon, turned the wedding ceremony of ex-speaker Dimeji Bankole into a concert as the reality star turned up at the wedding over the weekend. Videos from the event emerged online showing the young female guests swan around the reality star as soon as he was ushered onto the dance floor by the MC. The ladies were in such frenzy as they gathered round him while trying to get a snapshot and video of him while he performed his hit single Fierce and Nobody, which featured Joe Boy. The bride and groom were not left out of the excitement as they were grouped to his sounds as he performed. Joe Boy and Timi Dakolo were also guests at the event. And that's all we have for you in the entertainment segment of News Now.
And in sports, Lionel Messi was shown the first red card of his club career as Barcelona lost 3-2 to Atletico Bilbao in the Spanish Super Cup final held on Sunday. Messi, in his 753rd appearance for Barca, hit a Bilbao player in the final seconds of extra time, an incident spotted by the video assistant referee VAR, which led to him being sent off. The centre-forward had only been sent off twice before for his country, Argentina, and could now be banned for at least 4 domestic games with Super Cup suspensions carrying over to league and cup matches. Well, with that, we call it a wrap on News Now at this time. Thank you very much for watching. I am Onyi Adekunle. Bye for now.